Good morning, boys and girls. It's stay-at-home Susie here again. Tansy's here too somewhere. Where are you, Tansy? Where are you? Oh, Tansy, you are funny. Ever since I told Tansy the story about Lazarus who died, and then Jesus raised him from the dead, Tansy keeps pretending to be Lazarus. Look! She likes to pretend that she's dead and then she's alive again. She's got another favourite story too. Do you want me to tell them? Okay. Tansy's other favourite story is about the feeding of the 5,000. You might have known it's his favourite because dogs like food, don't they? It's not very easy for the grown-ups at the moment to buy food, is it? Well, Tansy's favourite story is about a boy who brought 5 loaves and 2 fish to a picnic. That sounds like a nice feast for one, but there were 5,000 hungry people with no food. Have a look in here. You might see the 6 rolls, but they only sell them in 6 at Sainsbury's. And you might see there's no fresh fish, but they didn't have any fresh fish because too many people are hoarding it, so I had to get some tuna fish. Well, 5,000 people, that's a lot of people. That's as many people live in Carstang. When Jesus got the fish and the bread, he broke it, he looked up to heaven, and then he divided it amongst 5,000 people. Not only were they full, but there were 12 baskets as big as this basket left. This man Jesus, he really is extraordinary. Last week, he calmed the storm with 2 words. This week, he raised Lazarus from the dead. And he fed 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves. What sort of man can do this? Well, today's story is about another journey that Jesus took. Not on a lake this time, but a journey on a road into Jerusalem. Jesus was going to Jerusalem with lots of other people. People went to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover at this time of year. The Jews celebrated the Passover because they remember how God saved them by lamb's blood painted on their doorposts. If people didn't paint lamb's blood on their doors, they died during the plagues of Egypt. Jesus was travelling with his disciples when they got near to a place called Bethany and Bethpage. This is where Lazarus lived. Jesus sent 2 of his disciples to go into the village. He told them that there you will find a donkey that no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks, say the Lord has need of it. So the 2 disciples went and did as he asked. The owner stopped them and said, "Why are you untying my donkey?"
"The Lord has need of it."
Well, the disciples said, "The Lord has need of it, like he said." They brought it to Jesus and they threw their coats on it. They cut down palm trees and they threw their coats on the road. And then Jesus, on the donkey, walked over the coats. And many of the crowd that had gathered, that had heard about all Jesus' miracles, and his disciples, shouted,
"Hosanna! Praise be to God! Bless him who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna!"
Some of the Pharisees in the crowd didn't like this, and they said,
"Oi, Jesus, tell your disciples to be quiet."
Oh, they didn't like what the disciples were saying, or the people. But Jesus said, "I tell you, that if I told them to be quiet, even the stones like this would cry out and say that I am the Messiah, the King of Kings. Do you know what's amazing about this story? Jesus asked them to get a donkey that had never been ridden before. And I've got a little donkey here. Can you see? Now, if a donkey's never been ridden and somebody gets on its back, it'll buck and kick like this until they've fallen off and they're on the floor. But this donkey didn't do that because Jesus controlled the donkey. He controls everything. He controls the wind and the rain, when we live and die, and he controls all the animals on this earth. Well, stay at home, Susie and Tansy need to go and get our daily exercise now. But next week, we're going to hear why Jesus went to Jerusalem. And I'll give you a clue. It's something to do with Easter. But bye